Welcome to the Odd Life Podcast. That's AWED, which stands for Awake, Well, and Empowered. We're here to have conversations to inspire women of all ages to live odd AF. I'm your host, Hallie, and thank you so much for being here. Let's dive in. Welcome to the podcast. I am here with my wonderful guest, Helen. I'm so excited to talk with her. You probably know her as Out of Office 1971 on Instagram. She's also on Substack. Her content is something that's so relatable. And so I cannot wait for you guys to have this chance to get to know her as well and learn her story and why I chose to have her on the podcast. I think you're going to understand why here in a minute. But Helen, so thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, Hallie.
You bet. Well, why don't you give us a little bit of lay of the land of who you are, give us your family dynamics, sort of where you're at in life right now.
So I'm the 54-year-old retired stay-at-home mom. The moniker stuck. My husband actually asked, he's like, did that just come out of your mouth? I was like, of course it did. That's what I am. So I'm the retired stay-at-home mom on Instagram. My kids are 23, 21, and 19. Okay. So they're all out of the house. The last one left this year.
Yep.
And after spending 23 years, really intense parenting, my husband's career definitely kept him out of the house, like weekends and nights and whatever. They were gone. And I found myself like, what now? And I'd started writing in 2018 and I am working on a novel, but I needed something that would give me a little more feedback in real time. I suspected if I just focused on that, it would be really easy to sit around all day and look at a screen and say I was writing, but maybe get a little caught up and get a little depressed. And so I wanted a place to just show up every day.
Yeah.
And I used to have a blog. So I thought I'm going to revisit that. I really enjoyed talking about travel and what I do, telling funny stories, but I didn't know any of the tools. I opened up Instagram. I'd never made a reel. I didn't know what a reel was.
Yes.
I didn't know what CapCut was. I didn't know what Templify was. So when my daughter left, I just jumped in 8 hours a day and was like, okay, chat, teach me how to use an editing app. So I jumped into this and that's what I did when my third child left.
Yeah. I think so many of us dabble with it, trying to figure out what to do with it. And it's like this fun little thing to do. But when you're diving in head first and wanting to create content, that is a full-time job. And I have a couple of friends that do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, what I'm doing is peanuts, but I should be doing a lot more. I'm getting by. So you're inspiring me to actually dive in a lot more. Social media, I love and hate it a lot of times. I love it for the people I've come across, the women I find, the connections, the community, all of that. And then I hate it because you get stuck on it. And then here I am scrolling, wasting time. I think it's about intention and why we're showing up in it. So that I think is the most important thing to focus on.
100%.
Yeah. So the intention. So coming into this, the intention behind it for you is?
The intention was a little bit about the blog I had in 2015, 16. It was called Bubblegum Chic, and it was the opposite of a niched down blog because I don't fit into a box very well. I loved fashion. And for me, I think that was a bit of an escape when I was young.
Sure.
So that stayed a part of my life. I loved funny stories. I loved writing. I loved traveling. So when I showed up on Instagram, again, it was like, well, what's your niche going to be? And I just sort of looked around and was like, I'm not there yet. What I'm ready to do is spend 8 hours a day learning and being a beginner. I'm okay failing visibly. I'm okay making mistakes and being cringe. Why not? In the beginning, I did not know this. I did not know in August when I started that my purpose, my love would be connecting with women who had similar feelings of what am I doing now? Or I don't feel like I fit in anywhere. Or my friendships are falling apart. I didn't expect that when my kids left. That wasn't my intention, but within 4 weeks it was.
Yeah.
Within 4 weeks, I was like, okay, that's my purpose here. There was a lot of fighting with the algorithm. If you look back at my earliest posts, the first post I had that really took off, it was my husband in his scrubs dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm texting him, and I had known the first time I heard "Where's My Husband?" I was like, that's the story of my life.
That's right.
And that song's going to pop off. And every day I'd be like, honey, did you film yourself dancing at the sink? And he's like, no, seriously, you really want to do that? And I was like, I really need that video. And it was the first reel, like I got on an airplane and got off and it had 17,000 views. And I was like, oh my gosh. But the algorithm decided I was a doctor's wife and
Oh,
that's what it would share.
sure.
And I literally had a Trojan horse. I was like, well, that's not what I'm sharing, but it's made a decision. And you can watch my videos progressively.
Mhm.
He'll be in the beginning and I'll be in the side. And then we're equal. And then all of a sudden, I got out of doctor jail with
Mm.
the most authentic reel I had done when I went to travel by myself for a month.
Yes.
And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm Helen. I'm
Yeah.
a retired stay at home mom. People hate my fucking eyebrows for being skinny and like they're not growing back. I mean, I literally got another one this
Ah,
morning. This
yes.
guy was like, why are your eyebrows so skinny? And I was like, dude, thank you because I have 3 viral eyebrow reels and you just gave me more content.
That's where I found you, is that real. That's how I found you. I was like, "Oh, I've gotta
Yeah.
talk to her and find out what it's all about."
And it was the month I was traveling alone and
Mhm.
which we can talk later about why I did
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
something about being in that space, being alone with my brain,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was amazing. I
Yeah.
love my husband. I love being with him, but I was really independent before I met my husband. I
Yeah.
traveled by myself.
Yeah.
I had an apartment by myself and I liked it. So my biggest thing was as soon as I knew what I was doing, I was like, there are a lot of other women who were messaging me on smaller reels. Like this one woman over Thanksgiving was like, I can't believe I found you. I'm going through this. And I had that feeling you get when your heart
Mhm.
sings, when you're like,
Mhm.
this is what matters. I was like,
Yeah.
if in my life, if I make one person feel that way, I'm done. Like, I'm
Right.
not done. But I was like, oh,
It's
my
worth it.
purpose just arrived.
Mhm.
It didn't arrive like at the mail with nothing behind it. I was deliberately showing up 10 hours a day and throwing myself into something, hoping to figure something out.
And be willing to be cringe, right?
Cringe is the best.
I know. And, I it's so funny because 'cause I'll sit there and watch a reel, and I don't even think about how this reel actually was created. This person had to do this, and this, and I'm watching it like a movie, like I'm just sitting there watching them in their living room, all the steps that had to go in to do this. My brain doesn't even compute kind of how all this happened. This is a full-time job to do this. And that's what's a part I think we have to reconcile with is whatever you think it's cringe, people showing up and doing these reels and doing the dance or using this trending song, whatever. There's so much work behind it, but there's a message and there's an intention behind it as well. Because you wouldn't do it, you wouldn't put yourself out there, that's okay. Just because you're not doing it doesn't mean this person isn't doing something with purpose. And it's going
Right.
to be a little bit cringy sometimes because we have to feed the algorithm,
We
unfortunately.
do. I think it would be disingenuous to sit here and say, it was just amazing. I would like go on Instagram for an hour or 2 a
I
day and
know.
look what happened.
I know.
That's not
It
fair
works.
to give that
Yeah.
message
Yeah.
because it's just not true. And you
Yeah.
certainly don't have to spend your life on Instagram. There's a million things you can do.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, the more time that you spend in that activity, the more feedback you'll get, the more
Yeah.
you'll learn.
Yes, exactly it. That's with anything, honestly. That's
Right?
with anything.
Writing, cooking, mahjong,
Exactly.
pickleball, golf, gardening. I think these are all amazing.
Yeah.
So
I think that's another thing I was gonna ask you about is occupying your time. Obviously, Instagram right now is a big part of this time frame for you, but hobbies. And I didn't do shit when the kids were little. I had a book club that was my neighbor ladies that literally we could walk out the door and met each other at each other's houses, like the least amount of effort possible. I played tennis in high school, never joined the tennis league. I wanted to play for fun and not be
yeah, really stressful. I saw a woman at our country club, which we quit because I couldn't take it anymore,
Yeah.
crying. And I was like, oh my God, did someone die? She's like, I can't find a fill in for tennis. I was like, oh,
Jesus.
you need to quit that team.
Gosh, so like that kind of stuff, I didn't pursue anything outside of the family. And then here I am now, midlife, trying to figure out, oh my God, what do I like? What do I want to do? I've pulled out the watercolors. I love to play pickleball. I just learned how to play mahjong. So I'm trying to get that going with my Kansas City sober social gals and trying to get,
Which
regular
is so
monthly.
cool.
Yeah. Trying to do that stuff. Not to fill time, but fill time with things that are joyful and
Right.
are bringing me fun, playfulness. And I think that's so much of what we miss. We go from being kids ourselves, for the most part, and then all of a sudden we're parents. And why does play have to stop? Sure, I played with my kids in the yard and threw a ball to them and pushed them on a swing, but I didn't play. Those are not my activities. They were their activities I was doing with them. And I wish I would have done that for my kids, is shown them me having more fun and play and pursuing things outside of them so they could see mom having fun and being in her element. So anything else that you've been doing since?
I like to run. I
Mhm.
had pneumonia this winter, so I was not running. But 3 years ago, I was in a COVID online life coaching group,
Oh, wow.
which I loved. And they sent out an email like, "Does anyone want to sign up for a half marathon?" That's all it said.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm picturing, of course, like going to Arizona and running on a flat road at like 8 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So I sign up for the course, and it's all about like committing to yourself and not quitting, the whole theme.
Yeah.
So I sign up for the group, and then it sends you the link to sign up for the half marathon. And I go to sign up for the half marathon, and I'm signing up for a half marathon at Mount Zion,
Oh.
through Mount Zion.
Oh
I
gosh.
don't trail run,
Yeah, yeah.
at night.
Oh my
At night.
gosh. Oh
I was like,
oh.
I looked at my husband. I was like, I have to fucking get out of, like, I can't do that. The group is like the no quit group.
Sure. Oh god.
And so we met once a week and talked about, and I would talk to Nicole, who is this amazing life coach who I'm actually going to resume working with again
Yep,
next week.
yep.
I was like, so I can't do this. I can't run on rocks. I can't get up at 2 in the morning and go run at 3 when there's a time change. Like, I can't do any of these things. We have a problem. And she's like, do you want to quit? Like, do you want your money back? And I was like, no, I have to do it. Like, you suckered me.
That's right.
And so I
Uh,
did the training, and I had so much anxiety. I was like, please let me get COVID and not have to go. Please let me get
yes.
COVID and not
Yeah.
have. I would be like, what are shale rocks again? Like, explain what I'm running on
Yes,
in the
yes.
dark by myself. And I almost slept through it. My alarm didn't go up. I don't know how I woke up. I woke up with
Mhm.
about 5 minutes to get to that car, ate a bunch of protein bars, and my headlight didn't work. So the beginning was very slow.
Yes.
I finished that, and I remember running at the top of the mountain on the
Mhm.
volcano rock, it was called.
Wow.
And I was singing, I hope my legs don't break, walking on the moon, like singing to myself.
Yes.
And by the time I was finishing, and it was staggered, so there were all sorts of people finishing, I come across this man who's quite old. And
Mm.
we've got like maybe a mile left, and he's looking a little bit like he might not be finishing this.
Yes.
So I stopped and I was like, hi, how you doing? And he said, it's my 86th birthday. And this is
Gosh.
like a gift to myself. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just chill out with you for a bit,
Yeah.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
And this really nice guy came up to us and he's like, I'm an EMT running this race. Like, he
Mm.
wasn't running it in the capacity of EMT,
Sure.
but he said, why don't you go? I've got this, which was
Mm.
super kind. And I finished, and then I stayed. I was like, I really want to watch this
Yeah.
man. And the way he honored himself on
Yeah.
that birthday was really, that was a lesson at the end of the race. You don't ever it was my 50th birthday to myself. So I just
Mm.
turned 50,
Mhm.
and it was a great way to
Yeah.
celebrate. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm good. I thought 50 it was going to be over. I'm good. I've got this. And so I'm
Mhm.
actually going to do one, not, it's just sort of more of a road race in California next November.
Cool.
So I love running.
That's
That's what I like to do. I do knit, I read, I like to travel.
Yep.
I write. I join writing groups. When my kids were in school, I was usually taking a writing class.
Nice. Online or in person?
So several online.
Okay.
I did for 2 years the Southampton Writers Conference through
Okay.
Stony Brook University. I
Okay.
1 year did with Melissa Banks. I don't know if you read The Girl's
Mm.
Guide to Hunting and Fishing.
Oh, I know the book. Yeah.
Yeah, she sadly passed away a year ago, but I took
Mm.
a class with her, nonfiction writing, and then I took a fiction writing class with Matthew Clam the next year. Those were in person, and they were amazing
Yeah.
because I felt like myself. No one was asking about charcuterie or floral arrangements. They were talking about their ideas and their craft. And you talk to a poet and they just really open your world. That was amazing. Those are some of the things
I love
I
that.
enjoy doing.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a great writer. I've read your Substack. You're so relatable. You can tell when someone's got their shit together when they're writing. You're just really great at it.
I mean, that's very kind of you. My mom was a writer. I joke that I was raised with a verbally abusive mother who had a PhD in political rhetoric, which will really give you thick skin and
Yes,
an
yes.
ability to use words.
Yes. I love that you lean into it too. Like, you're not just, okay, I'm going to throw this out there and see what happens. It's your craft and you're working on it and you're trying to be better at it and giving yourself that permission to do that, especially as a mom. A lot of times we don't do those things. So I'm going to dabble in this and downplay it. And for you to take classes and to do workshops, that's saying yes to yourself, which I think is a lot of times the struggle with women, especially, is we don't say yes to ourselves a lot of times. And as moms that stayed home, because you're the last one on the list usually.
Right.
I did a life coaching workshop. This was back in 2014. Never have done anything like that my entire life. And when I hit that button, like, to pay, that alone was, like, just
Right.
sent me
You've
to the
got skin
moon.
in the game
Yeah, and I just felt
too.
like, "Wow, I just did this thing." It felt like it's time to see your worth. It's time to really put yourself in the driver's seat here, and whatever that is that you're doing, you're taking lessons for something, if you're pursuing a new career, anything that requires you to make a lot of change or to just say yes to yourself, it's so empowering and it's so life-giving, I think, as women to have those moments and give yourself those moments to do those things. Like right now, doing your Instagram and your writing and your Substack. I mean, those are things you had to make decisions on and say, I'm gonna do this thing. We could have easily rode this out, done the typical, I'm gonna go join the league and I'm gonna go have lunch with these friends and kind of coast the rest of the time. But I don't wanna coast. I want this to
Right.
be a really impactful part of my life, and I think that's sort of where you're leading with all this is that you want to be impactful. You want it to be a big part of your life that's you and focused on you versus everybody else, and finally, it's your turn, and what are you gonna do with that time, you
Well,
know?
and I think too, I will speak to my generation, Gen X, because that's what I'm most familiar with. I
Yeah,
think we went into parenting at a time that Martha Stewart was starting to happen. And the parenting how to's and all the magazines, the internet was just catching on, the
yeah,
blogs
yeah,
and whatever. But we were definitely parenting in this time when it was competitive parenting. You're having the Halloween party, like, did you make the organic? Blah, 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 and I'd
right.
be like, oh my God, I don't like that. I don't want
Yeah.
to do that. But
Yes.
the world was making a business of parenting. We bought in
Yeah, yeah,
after I got my last child after college. I knew I needed something. I knew I could stay busy very easily between travel, running my
sure,
family,
sure.
whatever. I could, but I didn't want busy. I feel like now what I'm really drawn to is potentially if I could help women,
Mhm.
especially women, if they had a really difficult childhood. I think when you go through certain things, you tend to think there's something really wrong with me.
That's right.
And I mean, I've only in the last 3 years really gotten rid of the awful dark voice in my head. But if I could resonate with women who have been through an experience that leaves them feeling like I'm flawed, I'm the problem, I'm not worthy, and help through my journey of getting through a lot of CPTSD and both my
Mhm.
parents dying and just some hard stuff, that like, no, just because you are told you are these things does not
Yeah,
make you those things.
that's right.
And that is important, and I think I've done that. I'm not going to say superficial because if you touch one person it's not, but I make funny videos
Sure.
and I write deeply on Substack.
Yeah, yeah,
And when
yeah.
people say, why can't you make a serious video, I'm like, I don't have that channel. I'm either crying or I'm funny, and I'm not going to
Yes.
cry on Instagram.
That. I love you said it's intentional and you want to leave a mark. And I think that's where we're at right now with Gen X is we're sort of in this weird sandwich because our kids are being launched and having to take care of parents, but we're in this sandwich generation too of we're not doing life like our parents did and we're not really living like our kids. So where do we fit? What's our blueprint here to do this? And we talked about this before we hit record, but we're sort of making this up as we go along because there wasn't
100%.
role model on how to go about doing this in a healthy way. There's lots of role models how to do it really shitty. How to
Right.
do it in a healthy way, we're making this up as we go. And I love that so many women right now are being vocal about it because like you said, it helps us find each other. It helps us find resonance. It helps us find community. It helps us not feel alone. The more women that speak up and just have the courage and vulnerability to really say it like it is important. We can sit and have the pretty pictures, and we did all that back in early 2010, 13,
Right.
14, whatever. We all did the pretty pictures, and this really cute grid looks a certain way and had this certain filter. I think we're going the opposite direction now. I think everyone's
I mean,
craving
I hope so.
authenticity and just real talk. And that's what I'm about. I'm not the, curator of this perfect little Pinterest board type of Instagram. None of that. I'm going to find people that are really letting it all out there and being real because I think we've had enough of this Kim Kardashian sort of bullshit. This is not what life looks like. We're all messy. We all have to go through hard things. And so why would we not show up and really be honest about what you're going through? It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you at all to try and present this picture of this perfect life. And I think our generation right now is starving for that realness. I am at
I,
least. I
I
know that.
definitely think so. And I think that we're finding that the beauty's in the mess. Like, what are your favorite memories? They're not Pinterest memories. They're not like normcore. I'm a very silly person. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a lot of funny, ridiculous memories with my family. But I
Yep.
definitely, I also think if you're going to put yourself out there, so not right now putting myself out there, but the entire time my kids were little, and I touched on this in my last Instagram post
Yeah.
and my Substack, is this idea of showing up authentically is really hard. You tend to get judged. And I didn't like that when it would bounce back on my kids. At a certain point, I was like, they're not getting invited to the parties. It is what it is. You're too much. Doesn't matter that you're sober. It doesn't matter that you're authentic. They think you're weird. You know, they're not going to let your kids play together for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I'm so happy. Like, that's one thing that makes me so happy. My daughter has graduated from high school in a small town. It's like, I'm done.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah. I go back to that for a second, the friendships, because I think this is a big part of where we're at right now too, is this friendship situation because of proximity and our kids and doing all their activities. You're surrounded with these people and you sort of have these acquaintances and you have women that you get together with lunch or whatever. And then things shift and the kids are gone. And you have another caveat to this too, because of the sober story, which may not really affect you because you've been sober since your kids were little. So it may not have been a big deal. I didn't get sober until my kids were older. So it did affect some of friendships. But what are friendships like when you were a stay-at-home mom versus where they're at now and what's going on? And how are you approaching that now in this stage of your life? Like, are you actively looking for new friends? How are you maintaining the circle that you already had? Are you kind of fill me in on your friendship situation?
Yeah, I have an interesting friendship situation. So I would say, I mean, one important thing to mention is I've known my closest friends, like my very closest friend, I've known since I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
We went to kindergarten together.
Mm-hmm.
We're married to friends. Like, I wished on a star that in high school we would marry friends, and that all happened.
Yeah,
like, I introduced her to her husband. And then I have another friend who lived in Europe who I've known since 6th grade, and I would spend time with her and her kids. We'd made sure our kids grew up friends. And then my friends who are in New York and friends from graduate school. So I have some old friends, and I hope everyone has something like that because I think it steadies you. So then you start making friends when your kids are little with people who have kids in the same grade. I've maintained a few of those friendships, the ones that are meaningful, but I'd say 90% have dropped off because well, we weren't friends because we had so much in common. We had one thing in common.
Yeah.
Our kids were in the same grade.
Yeah.
And we're different now. And if someone is unkind or toxic or transactional, I'm way too fucking old for that. Like, take that someplace else.
That's right.
And if that group wants to be that group and have their own little thing, I'm 54. I'm fine. I've got my life.
That's right.
I think it's harder for some people though. So I don't have an innate need, but I get to see my friends who aren't near me. And that's unusual. What I'm learning is women are going through a really hard time after their kids graduate because that was their center.
Yeah.
Like, those were their friendships. And I am hearing a lot of those people start to retire. They start to travel. They lean into the people they've known the longest. And I think a lot of times if you don't have some sort of social currency, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, because I've heard from so many people, if you lack social currency, I've talked to women, they're like, I was just sort of left once my kid graduated. It's like, I'm not on the group text anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would say to anyone who feels like that, I've started making new friends in my 50s. Yeah. I made a friend in an airport lounge. We go to dinner all the time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Friends with a woman in a Bloomingdale's shoe department in California. I don't live there.
Yeah.
Friends with a woman at a vintage shopping event, again in California. And these are people that I stay in touch with. It's so cool because we chose each other not because of our kids. It's like being young again in your 20s, where you're becoming friends with someone because you actually have things in common. And I would definitely say to women, please get out there because it's so easy to feel lost and left behind. And I don't think anyone's trying to be mean or leave a friend behind. I have friends who were in that situation who went and took classes and they love it because they're back into a class with people who enjoy the same things as them. Like, it's a niched down group who wants to study the French Revolution at 55.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I have 2 friends who do that and it's so cool, but they're meeting people with similar interests and values.
That's right.
instead of just people who happen to be raising kids on a parallel track. And I think people can be really competitive about their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So especially as you get to where is your kid going to college? Does your kid have a job? Are they keeping up with the Joneses yet? And it's like, oh my God, I'm not ready to do that circle. We just finished high school.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. Have you heard the AA saying, don't compare your, maybe it's a life saying,
Oh, yeah.
don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides.
Yes, exactly. Do you go to AA?
Yeah.
Do you go to meetings?
I do not go to many these days. I go when I travel.
Yeah.
That is funny. I went religiously the first 3 years I was sober. I was in Tennessee, and my sponsor is still my sponsor. She is such a badass sober woman. She's been sober 7 more years than me, so 25 years.
Okay.
And I loved those meetings. I found it really hard to find a meeting that worked when I landed where I am now. I do some Zoom meetings and I do them when I travel.
Got it.
What about?
No, I've never done them.
I know plenty of people who haven't, who have
Yeah.
had success. I mean, I think to each their own.
Like I was sort of that gray drinker situation. I challenged myself to stop and realized I like myself a lot better without alcohol. So there really wasn't this defining moment or rock bottom for me that I had to really come to some reckoning. I love life a lot better without it. And I'm great with it. I've read some books and things like that, but I've never done AA just because it doesn't seem like it speaks to me. And I have zero urges whatsoever. Literally, they're gone. Not one moment do I feel like, oh God, I could go for a glass of wine. So I don't really feel like I have that need to be around people that are sober in a sense of I need this life raft. I want to be around people that are sober because I feel like women that are living sober are very present and they sort of go there, they say their feelings, they've dealt with their shit. There's no superficial crap. I feel like we all kind of just dive in when we're all sober.
Yeah, I was not gray area drinker. My grandmother, who I'm named after, she used to walk around her house. She was a fall down, raging alcoholic with a bottle of Windex filled with blue food dye and vodka.
Shut up. Wow.
And so obviously, I mean, my mother had a horrible and incredibly difficult childhood. She probably did a better job with me. I mean, she did, I guess. Grading on a curve. I mean, it wasn't great.
That's right. I know.
But like, I remember going when I was like 3 and visiting my grandmother in rehab. And my mother sadly never got sober. My father did-ish. I mean, he did. He got sober, but he had some other issues he probably should have worked on.
Yeah. Talk about the moment that you got sober.
Growing up, I knew something was very wrong. My father was addicted to drugs as well. So that was going on and I would throw them away and get in trouble. Like it was pretty twisted.
Yeah.
And I sort of remember as a kid being like, I'm not going to be like that. But then I start drinking in high school and it's off to the races.
Yeah. Same.
And I don't feel like I ever controlled it. I got through graduate school with really good grades. So I managed sort of. I looked at my daughter. She was my youngest. Now, I didn't drink while I was pregnant. So I had these forced breaks. And I've read other women do this too. It's easy to be like, maybe I'm not an alcoholic because I'm not drinking while I'm pregnant. I'm not drinking while I'm nursing. Or maybe you are, whatever. But I looked at my daughter. And there were a few moments that really got me there. But I looked at my daughter on the changing table and just had this moment. I was hungover. I was like, if I don't stop, she has zero chance. Like, I can say I don't want her to grow up the same way. She has zero chance of escaping this. It's not like I can guarantee her sobriety or any of my kids, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure I can guarantee extreme misery if I don't stop. And then there was a bar brawl with a woman from my neighborhood. We were like the Real Housewives before they existed. And so that was just I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. Like pancreatitis, I wasn't done. Passing out with a carbon monoxide alarm that we could have all died. That wasn't enough. Yeah. Like, that's why when people are like, well, rock bottom, I'm like, you don't always get sober at rock bottom. Sometimes you go down, you come back up, then you get off. It was a blessing.
Looking back, going, God, I'm so glad because your kids grew up with a totally different image of you than you grew up with your parents and being able to show up for them fully. I mean, it's already hard enough. We don't get enough freaking sleep or on the leftover mac and cheese and the coffee, we had this morning and shit like that.
Oh my gosh.
And then you throw alcohol in that. Like, oh my God, what the hell? Why would you even possibly think this would be a good idea to mix these things together? Parenting and being hungover, you've given your kids a chance to see somebody that's 100% who they are, which I think is a huge gift in itself.
We had our moments. I
Yeah.
was far from perfect, but actually, I just remembered when I got sober, the kids were 5, 3, and 1.
Mhm.
And I said to my sponsor, I'm pretty sure I've got this until my kids go to college,
Mm,
but I don't know about it when they leave me.
yeah.
And so as we approached my daughter leaving, I think maybe I mentioned it to my husband. He's like, do we need to be worried about that? And I was like, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so I think that was part of starting this as well. I definitely want my sobriety to be a part of it. I started talking about that later in December or January.
Mhm.
I'm so sick of people still trying to shame and addiction together because it's a medical problem. Like you're not getting sober if you're walking around with shame. Like
No,
there's no room for
no.
that.
You have to just at some point, you have to look at yourself as, "I'm worthy of having this full life," and you can't have shame and have that viewpoint at the same time, like you said.
Mm-mm.
And so, do you wanna have a full life or not? It's a choice that you have to make about how I wanna live my life, and I just realized like, I didn't wanna half-ass it, and I wanna be completely present, and I got that little taste of it for those 3 months that I did it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, why would I stop now?" Because I'm starting to just now reap the benefits, and it only gets better and better and better, and I will never look back on that time with like, "Oh, those great times of me being so wasted." This is the biggest gift I could have given myself is being sober because I am now getting so much out of life than I ever would have gotten drinking. Like my motivation, creativity, just really learning to love myself to who I am and not trying to mask or be some sort of persona when I drank. That
Isn't
was
it
sort of,
wild?
yeah, like, why was I trying to hide from who I was? And I just wish I could give people the gift of how I feel without it just for a little bit so you can feel it.
But it's so hard, right? If
So
you're
hard.
in the middle of using it to numb
Mhm.
something, and I think that's what happens. But I tell people and they're like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "Okay, it might be hard in the beginning,
Yeah,
but the freedom you feel when you're not planning your day around what time can I have a drink?"
that's right.
Like that is not me judging someone's drinking. I have plenty of friends who are not alcoholics. I do
Yeah,
not think everyone who drinks alcohol is an
correct,
alcoholic at
correct.
all. Anyone who wants to get sober, it's definitely an amazing experience
For
to
sure.
live fully. I mean, I remember my mom dying and thinking like, I can't raw dog this grief,
Yeah,
right?
that's
That,
right.
and then I was like, oh my God, I have to do it. I have to.
And then I think the younger generations, they're resisting it. They're not really digging it very much. So I'm curious where this all goes if the younger generation influences the older ones in this, because I feel like Gen X is still pretty hardcore, but I do believe menopause is helping women because I've heard so many women say, I used to be able to drink 2, 3 glasses of wine when I go out and I can have maybe a half a glass and I'm done. Like I'm exhausted
Right.
or I've got a headache right
Headache.
away and all these things. I'm like, yeah, our bodies are going, not happening. So it's sort of forcing us to have this reckoning with our drinking because it's not worth it. And so I think we're sort of getting to that point now where all those basic hydration and sleep and eating healthy and getting some exercise, like it's not a luxury anymore. We have to do this in order to feel somewhat normal.
Well,
And
and like my husband actually said, so he stopped drinking when I stopped drinking.
okay,
He
I
just,
was gonna ask you about
there
that.
wasn't even a question. It was amazing that he did that. He was like, well, then there's no alcohol in the house. And
Sure, sure.
I was really lucky because there was never really a time when I felt like I can't be around alcohol safely. So that was good. When I went to AA, I was 37 and I remember looking around and there were two groups of people. There were the people who they didn't fall down drunk. They had the wooden leg. They could just keep drinking and
Yeah,
drinking and no one could tell except their family. And
yeah,
so they got there when they were like in their 60s.
yeah.
And then there were people in their 30s who were like, yeah, so I'm a gremlin. I'm a nightmare. No one will talk to me anymore. My life is like disaster because I'm such an awful drunk. And that was
Mhm,
me.
mhm.
But the beauty of it was we showed up early.
Yeah,
Because when your friends are saying, I can't deal with you anymore, I just can't. I love you, but I can't deal with you.
yeah,
It's instructive.
yeah,
I mean, it's hard to say, oh, I don't have a problem
yeah,
when your best friends are like, you have a problem. Stop. I'm begging you.
yeah. Imagine if you had best friends who were like, "Let's go, come on," and keep cheering you on to keep going. Thank God you had friends who were like, "Dude, you gotta get this under control." I didn't have that situation, but the thing I found was sort of the opposite because I wasn't drinking. I got left in the dust.
I've definitely been there. Like I have room for people who can show up and act like adults and be kind
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
compassionate
Yep.
and not catty. And there's so many of those people out there. I get so many messages about this. Like, I'm
Mhm.
having a lot of trouble finding friends now that my kids have graduated.
Mhm.
And it is hard. I mean, and I do think, God, it sounds so cliched, but I do think if you could find a class or join a walking club.
So I think go and find what is it that you enjoy doing, and then go find a group that does it, and
Right.
you're gonna find your people, whether it's writing or art or,
Yes.
gardening club or whatever that thing is, you're gonna find the people. I think you just have to put yourself out there.
I was so scared when I went to that first writing conference because I was 47, 48. I applied. I was like, I'm never getting in. I got in and I was like, everyone must get in. Like
Yes.
before I get in, I'm like, I'm never getting in. And once they accept me, I'm like, they must suck if they took me. Right.
That's right.
And I show up and there's all these authors, published authors and other writers. And I mean, you want to talk about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to open my mouth. And then you had to read your writing out loud. I was so grateful for the ex-boyfriend who gave me such great material. I was like, thank God
That's right.
for my material. Um,
Uh,
so I think if there's someone listening who's like, that's scary. Everyone's scared. Everyone feels like a
yes.
fraud. And we really have to stop. I mean, my mom did say one thing that was really smart because I started graduate school late. I was like 28 when I started. She's like, well, I mean, you're going to be 29 anyway. You can be in graduate school doing what you want to do, or you can not do it because you think you're too old. So we're not getting younger.
That's right.
Those moments when I was like, I am too old to be starting this now. I don't know how I just shut my brain off to that thought. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not entertaining that today. And I would
Agreed.
just throw myself back into an activity because sure, it was there. I mean, you think I didn't think like, what the actual F am I doing on Instagram?
Yeah.
I don't think I danced in the beginning, but I have some really awkward trying on clothes videos because
Yes.
I thought
Yeah.
that'll be cute. But get past that. Just literally turn your brain off to it. Just
Yep.
say, I'm not entertaining this thought.
You have to, because otherwise you would never do anything. If you sat and entertained every thought and followed what your brain was always telling you, you would
Right?
do absolutely nothing. You have to just
Would you
almost
have
like,
this podcast?
I would never have this podcast.
Right.
Who the hell am I? I'm some chick from the sticks, right? That's exactly it. You have to turn everything off because, even now, being a midlifer, that clock is ticking even faster. I feel like, God, time just keeps going by
I know,
faster
don't
and
say
faster
it.
all the time. Like, I don't have time to waste.
Got to squeeze the marrow out of every day. Literally, there's the writer in me.
That's right.
I mean, like today, it's sort of a cringy moment, but also, oh my God, like I woke up to 100,000 Instagram followers.
Mhm.
My husband was like, was this on your dance card? I was like, no. I was very deliberate in not allowing myself, not that I didn't want to dream big. I just was like, if I start thinking about all of the what ifs, and this is one thing I would love women to just fucking do what they want to do. I could have bought the notebook and planned and taken a class. And it's really easy to put off anything that you
Right.
want to do. Cooking, writing, anything.
Yep.
I was like, I'm just going to start and see what happens. So this is not what I thought would happen. The writing part a little bit, but the Instagram, no.
Yeah.
Like absolutely not. But it's happened really organically because it's happened when I started being really authentic. Like
Mhm.
I'm this wackadoodle do and I have no eyebrows. And I basically spend my day shipping Amazon packages. And these are my truths. And people, when they hear you tell your truth, are like, wait,
Right.
it's safe to tell my truth.
That's right. That's right.
A number of women who resonated with retired stay-at-home mom, they're like, oh my God, that's what I am. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm not ashamed. So what? I'm on my next step. I'm owning it.
Yeah. We're all winging it. Nothing's ever gone according to plan. So why not give it a whirl and see what happens? And you're
You
doing
know where
it.
that's especially true?
Yeah.
Is medicine. So like I'll look at that as my example. It was like every medicine, not every, but almost every medicine we have was not a medicine designed for that. Like
Mm.
Latisse that we grow our eyelashes
Sure,
with,
sure.
glaucoma patients with the long eyelashes, or
Mhm.
different cancer medications that fight this. So because I'm married to someone in medicine and I have some science background, is like, that's just life. Like
Yep.
you start researching one thing, and that's how people used to learn.
Yeah.
And, before this like really strict high school, college progression, is you go outside and you think about something for a few hours and see where that leads you. And then you research it and study it. Remember
Yeah.
science in
Yes.
seventh grade, the
Yeah.
hypothesis, the
Yeah.
theory, the test the theory.
Mm-hmm.
And we've sort of walked away from that. Whereas embrace it. Go figure out what you want to do and try it, see if you like it. And if not, something else.
Follow the curiosity. That's
You'll
my
probably
thing.
find something else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Follow the curiosity. I think that's the thing that when we get to a certain point in life, like what's coming up all the time for you? Like what's always on your mind? And there's a reason why it's there. Like you're going to see a book that talks about it. You're going to all of a sudden see a podcast about it, or just your brain goes, huh, like I wonder what that's all about. Follow it. I would have never gone down the path I would have gone down if I hadn't had this aha about my writing. I was hitting a wall and I just wanted to get unstuck. And I had these writer friends I was paying attention to, and she mentions this workshop, and I followed the trail, and then that led to other things, and then it led to writing more, and then it led to reading books about things.
Right.
And so that went down a whole other path.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and then now I really feel more like myself than ever because I followed those little curiosities. Like, what are you curious about? What is interesting you right now? Just go that direction. It doesn't mean you have to stay that direction forever. And I think that's sort of also a Gen X thing. I went to nursing school, therefore I'm a nurse my entire life. Like we can pivot whenever the hell we want to. And there's not
Yes.
someone out there saying, nope, no, no, wrong direction. You're
But
supposed to
I
stay in
think
this lane.
women really have it in their head that there
Yes.
is. And
I think so too.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Are people going to judge you? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be haters.
For
They're
sure.
going to be like, what is she doing? Blah, 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 blah. Who cares?
Yes.
That's because they're not busy doing their own things.
Do you look at your followers at all and who's watching your stuff and see like, oh, this person from my everyday life is paying attention, but she's never commenting. She's never liking it. She's just sort of watching.
Yeah. In the beginning, I definitely was like, what
Yeah.
is that? What is it that this person is looking at every story and they've never liked anything? And then you know what? I was like, oh, fuck it. That's not a me problem. That's a them problem. If they don't have enough generosity to click heart, that
It's
is not
interesting.
about me.
Right? Yeah, I know. It's interesting how social media can reveal that kind of stuff, which again, who cares? They're not condemning you, but they're also not cheering you on. So it's sort of this really weird in between space where it's like, why wouldn't you cheer somebody on? If I had a friend that's pursuing something and she's excited about it, I am right there cheering on.
100%. 100%.
Why not support somebody that's done a hard thing? I mean, writing a book is insane.
It costs you nothing to support people.
Right, exactly.
To be kind to support people.
Yeah. Talk about something, share it, like it, whatever the fuck it is. It's mind blowing to me that people have a hard time supporting.
But what you're saying is very common. And like, I think, especially if you're on social media, you're aware of it because that's where it's just so glaringly obvious. You're like,
Yeah.
well, that's weird because 97,000 people, I don't know, liked it, but
It is what it is.
But I bet you have like your star supporters too.
I do.
So I just focus on them. Like
Yeah.
my people who show up and are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did this. This is
Yep.
so amazing.
I love that. You mentioned something briefly. You said a novel, and we're talking about writing books. So what are you writing? Tell me, can you
So
talk
I have,
about it?
yes. Oh, totally. So I have 2 novels in a drawer. The first one, oh my gosh. I mean, I loved it. You're a writer, so you're going to know how ridiculous it is. It's 130,000 words.
Holy shit, sister.
I like the concept. It's basically this woman who doesn't fit in her suburban neighborhood and doesn't understand all the cocktail parties where people are talking about their pet chickens and whatever.
Yes.
It's funny though, because she is a widow and I mean, it was funny writing. People are like, you write widow really well. I'm like, my husband's not home much.
That's right.
And then the second one is actually a second chance romance, which was just simpler. It was first person, 2 main characters. A woman in the 90s met this singer who ended up becoming a huge part of Americana. And it goes back and forth between the 20 teens and the 90s. And she's an alcoholic, big surprise. And I don't want to give too much away, but I had some friends beta read that. And I will go back to that one first. I love it. I love the characters.
Love it.
And I really do need to do it soon. Now that I'm in a flow state, doing things every day, I'm in a much better place to resume that task. I had wandered off the trail. I was in a place of a bit of self-indulgence over the last child leaving. And I was like, I need to snap myself out of this. And the only way I know how to snap myself out of anything is focus and work. So that's where I am. But
Nice.
yeah,
I love it. I love
I
it.
love writing.
Well, let me get to the thing I want you to talk about is your month-long retreat. What prompted that? You just said, fuck it, I'm going. And then kind of how did you feel when you were doing
Sure.
it? Because that's literally my dream is to go away for a month and be by myself.
Okay. So I will preface it by saying I traveled by myself in my 20s all the time. No phone, a map, no money, very poor, like a map, a bus, a train, and a scary hotel where you shared a bathroom.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a stranger to solo travel. It was freezing here. I wanted to go to California. I love California. And I was like in a creative mode and I wanted to start really working on my Substack and writing. And I found that I'm really good at saying, this house is my responsibility because I'm not making a living. So if there was ironing or housework or anything, like I would just start doing it.
Yeah.
And my husband had a camping trip. He works a lot still. He also had a call weekend. So it was like February to March. And I was like, do you really want me sitting in this house by myself?
Yeah.
Doing our laundry.
Yeah.
I rented an apartment. I did get a lot of negative feedback. I will be honest. The number of men who were horrific on posts about I spent a month by myself. Oh, you wanted a bigger body count. You know, your husband's fucking a nurse. I was like, well, that's really original.
Right.
So that's like the article I wrote, Misogyny is Alive and Well.
Yes.
But it was great. So I just knew. I was like, I need to be alone.
Yeah.
I mean, and when I got back, my husband and I were talking about all of the blowback I'd gotten. And I was like, you fell in love with a fiercely independent woman. It's the only reason our marriage worked. You were gone all the time. And I never resented him. I didn't love it when the kids were little. So he's gone. I've got a life. I've got a brain. I do my own thing. And I said, you wouldn't have been attracted to me. It was just this whole concept that it was such a big taboo thing to leave my husband for a month. I didn't understand. I mean, I wrote every day. I read every day. I walked every day. I ate yummy California food every day. I went for drives. I like hiking alone. I don't have a problem with that. I connect with my thoughts. And in discussing with friends and with my husband, he was like, I love it. You're so happy and you brought it back with you.
That's right.
But a lot of people are like, why would you leave your husband for a month? And I was like, I don't even understand your question. I don't get it. I wanted to have my brain back for a month because in a house, you are constantly dealing with something like the pipe broke, this broke, the sewer backed up while I was gone. If I had been here, that was me. It's not fixed because I was gone, but we're just going to wait till it backs up again, I think. So I needed to do that. I needed to be alone. I think every woman should try to be alone, even if that's a walk by yourself. I understand not everyone was not in like a resort. A lot of people were saying, I can't believe you'd go spend all that money on a resort. I was like, it's in an apartment by myself with a little rental car going to get gas and living in a different place. I found the local florist and I made flower arrangements. And I say, maybe you can't do it for a month. I understand that, but you can go for a walk by yourself. It's amazing how many people, I had a lot of people today drop in and say, I'm going to go to a movie by myself. Or I'm going to go to the theater by myself. And I was like, great.
Love that.
We have to be able to spend time with ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I would encourage. If I could go back and tell myself anything or any girls starting out, spend time by yourself. Get to know yourself before you dive into something else. Before you get into a serious relationship, know who you are first. Do
100
what you want to do. But I love the fact that you went and did this because it's exactly what I want to go do. Do you know Jen Hatmaker? Do you know her name?
Yes.
She does that thing every month and she goes off to some little town. She's done all kinds of stuff. I freaking love that.
How is this even a conversation? Like, how are people hating on women for that?
I know.
I don't understand. One dude dropped in and was like, you are your husband's possession. You are not allowed to speak or travel. And they all have dogs in their profile picture. I feel so sorry for these men's dogs.
Seriously. You're crazy. Like you are literally crazy if you think that's a normal thing to say to somebody. That's insanity. And then you have to wonder, what are they surrounded by that they feel that's okay to say to somebody?
Outlandish ones don't bother me as much as like today a woman was like, do you not have a real job? And I wrote back all my jobs and was like, do better. You're a woman.
That's right.
Do better.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
That's not how we show up for each other.
Yes. Support and cheer somebody on because they're loving on themselves. How many guys go on an annual fishing trip and then they do all these other
never say a word.
Not twice about it. Yeah. I only told my husband, you're not going this year because I'm having a baby the week before that trip. Absolutely fucking not. And I'm thinking about this now. I'm like, maybe it's just a long weekend just to get started, but I don't even know where I'd go. there's so many places I want to visit. I want to go to the Northeast. I want to go to Pacific Northwest. I want to go to all these great places like Cannon Beach, Oregon. Like, how do I narrow it down? I've got so many in my head.
I think women who want to travel, I mean, there are some real ballers in my comments and DMs who are like, I just went to Vietnam by myself.
Wow.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. I was not ready for, I'm just going to go somewhere where I know the language and I know the lay of the land. The weather will be nice. Like, I didn't want to go somewhere cold. I really wanted daily hiking. And I know the hikes there. So, but definitely like if you're new to this, start somewhere close to you or where you know the language, where you can navigate in a car, because I like to have a car.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And
It builds that confidence. You can start small and then build your confidence to something bigger.
Go to a movie by yourself.
Yeah.
Go to dinner by yourself.
Yeah,
with
absolutely. A lot of people that I've known can't fathom doing something by themselves without someone else as a support buddy. I'm like, oh my gosh, you miss out on all the golden stuff if you go with somebody else because you already have then that built-in safety net. You're not really forcing yourself to meet new people or just how are you going to figure this out? No one's there to help you figure it out.
Just sit alone with your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And being by yourself, I think, is such an underrated activity.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah. I come across my guests organically usually. I'll follow them or someone else introduces me. And I just know in the moment, she needs to be on the podcast. And I look at your profile, then you know somebody that I'm like, oh shit, well, hell yeah. Then you're sober and this and that. So I know that you're meant to be on the podcast. And I'm so grateful you said yes. And I love all you're doing.
I'm so grateful. And I love all that you've done. And actually it is funny because I was like, wait, I've heard her podcasts.
Oh gosh.
Like I realized when I went to look, I was like, I've already listened to this. I'm super familiar with it. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
And the people you've interviewed.
I like being a connector and I like being someone that introduces people to other people. And that's sort of what I feel like this is all about, is letting people just see this amazing person I've met and make sure that you don't miss out on who they are.
But I am coming to find you and take you to a football game.
I would love that.
I'm not joking.
I would love that.
I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I'm going to look at the schedule when we get off of this podcast.
I'm there,
so
sister.
excited.
So I'm so tickled that you're here. And I will put all your Substack stuff in your writing and where to find you on Instagram in the notes.
And ditto. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. I really appreciate it.
Before I let you go, what is one thing right now that's helping you feel awake, well, and empowered, which I call the odd life?
Walking.
Yeah.
I use it for therapy. It was part of my assignment for when I was struggling with really bad, complex post-traumatic stress syndrome after my parents died. I was told your reticular activating system, when you walk without, and I need to walk without music or podcast once a day. I think through everything that's worrying me during that time. And your brain actually has a built-in stress buster. If you do that, it helps you work through your worries in real time. And then they tend to go away so that you can sleep more soundly in difficult times. So walking, because it's a walking meditation. It's not just a walk.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Well, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. All right, dear.
You're so welcome.
Oh my gosh. Have a great rest of your day. And I look forward to following you on Instagram and all the things you're doing. I'll be there for you.
Oh, thank you. Same. Right back at you. I'm so excited.
Thanks so much for listening. I hope you found this episode either helpful, inspiring, entertaining, or just made you feel less alone. Or maybe all of those things. If so, I'd love it if you'd share this episode with a friend as well as on your social media. And if I dare ask for more, to rate and review the podcast on your favorite platform, especially Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You see, the more reviews we have, the more people we can reach, and the bigger the Odd Life community can become. You guys are the best. I can't wait to chat again next week, so we'll see you then.